Okay, so the next question is, what actions can be used to control the malarial pathogen? So releasing carnivorous fish in the ponds and lake, yes, this can be done. Why? Because this is going to kill the mosquitoes that are the vectors for transporting this malarial parasite to the humans, right? So it cannot be C, it cannot be D. We are going to cut those out. Next, applying antibiotic cream to the skin. No, because antibiotic is what kills bacteria, and malaria is not a bacteria. It is actually a parasite that is transmitted via a mosquito. Mosquito is the vector. So we particularly need to kill the mosquitoes. Antibiotic cream is going to kill the bacteria, which is not present over here. So this is going to be no. So essentially A is out of the equation, but we're going to confirm our answer. Spraying insecticides on the building, yes. Why? Because this is going to kill the mosquito. Vaccination with the malaria vector, no, there's no vaccination that is available for prevention from malaria. So no. So the answer is going to be B. The graph shows concentration of dissolved oxygen at different points along the river, at which point the sewage is emptied into the river. So when the sewage is going to be emptied into the river, if at a particular point the sewage is emptied, at that point the oxygen is going to be high, but subsequently it is going to decrease because sewage at that point is being thrown into the water, so the oxygen is going to decrease. So it cannot be D and it cannot be A. It can either be B or it can be C. So the answer is not going to be C, because this is the point where the sewage has now all of the sewage has now been dumped into the water and it is now flowing in the water. B is going to be the point where the sewage has been dumped into it, because after this the oxygen within the river is decreasing. So essentially this is going to be the point where it is being dumped. The diagram shows how bees visit a species of flowering plant that has tall spike flowers. In the flowers at the base of the spike, the carpels are mature but the anthers are not yet mature. So the at the base, this is the base, the carpels are mature and the anthers are not mature. And at the top, the anthers are mature but the carpels are not mature. The anthers are mature. So which statement is correct? Bees visit two flowers for successful pollination. Yes, obviously. The difference in maturing times for anther and carpels ensure pollination between flowers. So this means that when there is different maturing time, so self pollination is not going to occur. So pollination is going to be cross pollination. So yes, this is also correct. Seeds will develop first in flowers at the top of the plant. At the top of the plant? No. Why? Because over here anthers are mature. So the bees are going to come and they're going to collect the pollen and then going to go and drop it off at another flower. And then over here the pollination is going to occur. The seed is going to develop. So only this is wrong. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. So the answer would be B. The diagram shows a section through a dicotyledonous seed, which structure provides the most nutrients for the seed to grow after the germination. So it would be the cotyledon, because this is where all of the energy and nutrients are stored. So this is a pretty straightforward answer. Okay, human gametes are different from each other, meaning the sperm and the egg are different from each other. What information about the male gamete is correct? Meaning the sperm is correct. When we talk about the size, the egg is very large in size as compared to the sperm. So the sperm, we're talking about the sperm. So the sperm is going to be small. So we're going to cut out A, we're going to cut out B. Number released at one time. When we talk about the egg, only one egg is released per month. But when we talk about sperm, per ejaculation, millions of sperms are released. So the answer is going to be millions. And movement. The egg is not motile. However, the sperm, it has a tail. So the sperms can move on their own. So they can swim. So the answer is going to be D. The diagram shows the menstrual cycle. The number refers to the number of days after the beginning of menstruation, which label shows the point in cycle when implantation is most likely to occur. Implantation of the zygote, right? So 1 would be the day when the menstruation has started. Over here, the menstruation is going to end. B is the time when estrogen is high and the lining of the uterus is getting developed. C is when there is going to be an LH surge, and 14th is the day when ovulation occurs, right? So after ovulation, the sperm is going to come in and it is going to fuse, and it is going to form a zygote. So it is going to be D after the 14th day when the ovulation has occurred. So this is when implantation is going to occur. So the answer is going to be D. A variety of snail has inherited condition that affects the thickness of the shells. So T have thick shells, T and N, the heterozygote, has thin cells, and N they do not survive, right? So two heterozygous snails are mated. What is the probability that a surviving snail of the next generation is heterozygote? So if we make a Punnett square, so over here this is homozygous, this is heterozygous, this is heterozygous, and this is homozygous again. Now if we're looking at it as a whole, this is going to be 1:2:1, which means that the heterozygote is going to be 0.5, right? But they're asking about the catch over here is the surviving snails. So the N1, this is not going to survive. So overall it is going to be, though heterozygotes are not going to be half of the population, they are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 2 of those are the heterozygotes. So they're going to be 2/3 of the population. So 2 divided by 3 is 0.67. So answer is going to be D. A man of blood group A and his wife of blood group O have 2 children. Both have blood group A. The man concluded that he must be homozygous for the allele IA, since he thought half of his children would be of blood group O if he were heterozygous. What was his conclusion? Why was his conclusion unsound? So why is it unsound? Blood group mutations are common? No, it is not that common. Genetic ratios are unreliable for small numbers. When we talk about probabilities and ratio, we are applying that on millions and millions of people. But over here, we're only talking about 2 children, which is a very small number. So this can be correct. His wife might have been heterozygous. No, that is not possible, because O is only going to express when it is in homozygous, because it is a recessive allele. So it is always going to express when there is homozygous recessive present. So it cannot be the answer. So the expected ratio for a heterozygous father, that would be AO, and a group O mother, that would be OO, is A is going to be 3 and O is going to be 1. This is not correct. If we look at it, this is the heterozygous father and this is the homozygous mother, homozygous recessive mother. So this is going to be AO, this is going to be OO, this is going to be AO, and this is going to be O and O. So it is going to be 1:1, right? So this is wrong. So the only correct answer is B. In a garden, there were species of insects which can either be red or green in color. The green insects were well camouflaged. Birds that eat insects start to live in the garden. The graph shows the population of the red and the green insects then change. What is this an example of? So what we see that as the time proceeds, the green insects are increasing. However, the red insects are decreasing. Why? Because they are not well camouflaged. So they are becoming the prey for the insect eating birds. So this is natural selection, right? It cannot be artificial selection because we're not doing anything. All of this is occurring naturally. What can be the benefits of genetic engineering of crops? Crops that can be stored for longer. Yes. Crops with a better flavor. We can do that. Use of less fertilizers. Obviously. Less use of pesticides. Yes. So all of these are correct. So the answer is going to be A.